Hello, I am Dr. E. Srinivasa, Assistant Professor of Physics. In this video, I am going to explain one of the chapter Atomic Physics prescribed for 3rd BSc Physics students. In this chapter, we will study the atomic structure. The topics covered are different types of atomic models such as Thomson's plum pudding model, Rutherford's atomic model, Bohr's atomic model, Sommerfeld's relativistic atom model, vector atomic model, and their merits and demerits. Prerequisites to study these atomic models are discovery of electron, properties of electron, and fundamental particles of an atom, electrodynamics. First, we'll discuss what is Thomson's atomic model or Thomson's plum pudding model. Thomson proposed this model in 1904. What are the assumptions of the Thomson's plum pudding model? The first assumption is that atom is positively charged sphere in which mass and charge are uniformly distributed. Electrons are embedded in this sphere like seeds in a watermelon or plums in a pudding. Number of positive charges equal to number of negative charges so that the atom is electrically neutral. That means in an atom, positively charged sphere, the charges are uniformly distributed. Positive charges are uniformly distributed and the electrons are embedded in the positively charged sphere like plums in a pudding. This diagram represents the Thomson's plum pudding model where in a positively charged sphere electrons are embedded like seeds in a watermelon or plums in a pudding. So what are the merits of the Thomson plum pudding model? This model was able to explain electrical neutrality of atom, because in the atom the number of positive charges is equal to number of negative charges. And also this model explains the stability of atom by means of the assumption of atomic structure. What are the limitations or demerits of the Thomson's plum pudding model? This model is unable to explain origin of spectral lines in an atom. And the second limitation is that large angle scattering of alpha particles by an atom. So the first limitation or demerit is that this model is unable to explain origin of spectral lines in an atom. In an hydrogen atom, there are line emission spectrum or different colored lines are seen. How these lines are coming in this spectrum, that cannot be explained using the Thomson's atomic model. And also large angle scattering of alpha particles by an atom. So we know that this is the positively charged sphere in which electrons are embedded like seeds in a watermelon or plums in a pudding. When alpha particles are nothing but helium nuclei, that is they are positively charged particle. When they are incident on the atom, so they are passed through the atom if it is, positive charge is uniformly distributed. But according to Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment, these alpha particles are scattered by the atom. How it is possible, that cannot be explained by the Thomson's plum pudding model. Rutherford's atomic model. To overcome the difficulties in the Thomson's plum pudding model, Rutherford's atomic model was proposed. Rutherford proposed this model in 1911 based on the results of alpha ray scattering by Goldfoyle experiment and Geiger-Marsden experiment. These experiments established that Thomson assumptions of extended sphere of positive charge is wrong and all positive charge and entire mass is concentrated at the center. Then what are the assumptions of the Rutherford's atomic model? The first assumption is that all positive charge and almost all mass of an atom is concentrated at the center of an atom in a small region called nucleus. Electrons, the negatively charged particles, are revolving around nucleus in circular orbits of all possible radii. This is the second assumption. And the third assumption is that total positive charge on the nucleus is equal to the total negative charge of the electrons. These are the three important assumptions. And also, he predicted that the size of the atom is of the order of angstrom, that is 10 to the power of minus 10 meter, and the size of the nucleus is of the order of Fermi, that is 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. So, we can neatly explain Rutherford's atom model using the diagram. So, you know that according to Rutherford, the whole mass of the atom and entire positive charge is concentrated in a very small region at the center of an atom called the nucleus. So, this nucleus containing positively charged protons. The negatively charged electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits of all possible radii. This is the structure of an atom according to Rutherford. And this diagram gives the spectral lines in the spectrum. How spectral lines appeared in the spectrum. The appearance of the spectral lines in the spectrum was not explained by the Thomson atomic model. And this diagram represents, according to Thomson's atomic model, if the positive charge is uniformly distributed throughout the sphere, the alpha rays can pass through the atom. But actually, according to Rutherford's alpha ray scattering experiment, these alpha rays are scattered by the nucleus. So, the scattering of alpha particles can be easily explained using the Rutherford's nuclear atom model, because at the center there is a positively charged nucleus is there. Whenever a positively charged alpha particles is passed through the atom, at the center they are repelled with a positive charge. Hence there is a scattering of the alpha particles. So, merits of the Rutherford's atomic model. This model able to explain electrical neutrality of the atom, because the number of positive charges inside the nucleus is equal to the number of negative charges, electrons revolving around the nucleus. So, number of positive charge is equal to the number of electrons, thereby explain the electrical neutrality of the atom. The second one is this model able to explain large angle scattering of alpha particles. As I explained, there is a positively charged nucleus at the center. Whenever a positively charged alpha particles is passed through an atom, these positively charged alpha particles get repelled with a positively charged nucleus, and hence there is a scattering in all directions. So, therefore, this model explains large angle scattering of alpha particles. This model has also some limitations. What are the limitations of the Rutherford's atomic model? It cannot explain stability of the atom. So, what is the stability of the atom? According to electromagnetic theory, accelerated charge electron radiate energy. As per this, electrons, after radiating all energy, ultimately falls to nucleus, contradicting the assumption 1, that is stability of the atom. And this model unable to explain line spectra of atoms. So in this diagram we can easily see the limitations of the Rutherford's atomic model. This electron is revolving in a circular orbit around the positively charged nucleus. When the electrons moves in a circular path, so it is assumed to be accelerated, because at every point it changes the direction of the motion and hence velocity gets accelerated. This accelerated charge or electron continuously loses energy according to the electromagnetic theory. Therefore, it takes the spiral path and finally falls into the nucleus. That is, thereby it could not explain the stability of the atom, and also it explained the scattering of alpha particles. Rutherford made an experiment. The alpha rays are made through a gold foil, contains an atoms and also get scattered in all directions. Bohr's atomic model. To overcome the difficulties in the Rutherford's atomic model, Bohr's atomic model was proposed. Bohr's atomic model is based on the following postulate. The first postulate is that almost all mass of an atom and whole positive charge is concentrated in a small region at the center of the atom called the nucleus. And the second postulate is that electrons revolve around nucleus only in certain discrete orbits prescribed by quantum conditions. These orbits are called stationary orbits. When the electrons are revolving in these stationary orbits, does not radiate energy. So these stationary orbits does not radiate energy. Electrons revolving in the stationary orbits does not radiate energy. Hence, the stability of the atom was explained. There is a Bohr's quantum condition. What is the Bohr's quantum condition? For stationary orbit, the angular momentum of the electron in that orbit is an integral multiple of h by 2 pi. That is mvr. The angular momentum is given by mvr is equal to integral multiple n h by 2 pi, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. What is the third postulate of the Bohr's atomic model? When an atom absorbs a photon of frequency nu, it jumps from low energy orbit E1 to high energy orbit E2, subjected to Bohr's frequency condition. E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, where E2 minus E1 is the difference in energy states and h is the Planck's constant. Nu is the frequency of the radiation absorbed. Similarly, when an atom jumps from higher energy state E2 to the lower energy state E1, emits a photon of radiation of frequency nu subjected to the same condition. That means whenever an electron jumps from higher energy orbit, say n is equal to 3, to lower energy state, that is n is equal to 2, the difference in energy, that is E2 minus E1, comes out as a photon or electromagnetic radiation of certain frequency given by difference in energy, that is E2 minus E1, that is delta E is equal to h nu. The frequency of the radiation is always constant because h is Planck's constant. And this diagram gives the Bohr's atomic model. At the center, almost all mass of an atom and whole positive charge concentrated in a very small region. He called this as positively charged nucleus. Electrons, the negatively charged particles, revolving around the nucleus in a certain stationary orbits. These are the postulates of the Bohr's atomic model. So again, this is the large diagram which represent the positively charged nucleus, and these are the different orbits, and also electrons are revolving around the nucleus in stationary orbits. What are the merits of the Bohr's atomic model? This model able to explain spectrum of hydrogen atom, that is origin of the spectral lines in the spectrum. Because whenever an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to the lower energy orbit, the difference in energy comes out as an electromagnetic radiation of particular frequency or photon. It is this photon appears as a spectral line in the spectrum like this. These spectral lines are the photons which are emitted whenever an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to the lower energy orbit. And also you can see the different colored spectral lines having different wavelength and also different intensity. That is called relative intensity of the spectral lines. And also if we view this single spectral line with a high resolution spectrometer, so you can see number of spectral lines. That means a single spectral line consists of large number of spectral lines. That is called fine structure of the spectral lines. So you will see in the next slide. And this model can explain the stability of the atom, because the number of protons inside the nucleus is equal to the number of electrons which are revolving in the stationary orbits. Does not radiate energy. Electrons moving in a stationary orbit does not radiate energy. That is, thereby it explains the stability of the atom. It could not explain the values of energy which an electron can have while revolving around the nucleus of hydrogen in the hydrogen atom. So actually this is not a merit, this is the demerit. So I will explain in the next slide. And it can predict the size of the atom. The size of the atom is of the order of angstrom, that is 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. The value of the Rydberg's constant calculated using this theory is an excellent agreement with the experiment also. So therefore Bohr's atomic model is very important basic model. So at this point is actually demerit. Limitations of the Bohr theory. This theory is applicable only to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. That is only for single electron systems. And this model unable to explain relative intensity of spectral lines. As explained in the last slide, that is the different spectral lines in the spectrum have different intensity. They are also called relative intensity of the spectral lines. This model unable to explain relative intensity of spectral lines, unable to explain fine structure of the spectral lines. That means a single spectral line is observed through a high resolution spectrometer. It consists of a large number of spectral lines. That is called fine structure of the spectral lines. And this model unable to explain fine structure of the spectral lines. And it fails to justify the wave nature of the electron. What is the wave nature of the electron? So whenever an electron moving with very high velocity, it exhibits the wave nature. That is called wave nature of the electron, and it fails to justify the wave nature of the electron. This theory does not explain relative intensity of the spectral lines. So this is again repeated. Okay. Sommerfeld's relativistic atom model. To explain fine structure of spectral lines and relative intensity of the spectral lines, Sommerfeld gave relativistic atom model. So what are the features of the Sommerfeld's relativistic atom model? First feature is that according to this model, the path of an electron around the nucleus in general is an ellipse with the nucleus at one of the foci, and these electrons revolving around the nucleus just like a planets revolving around the sun. The circular orbit is only a special case of the elliptical orbit. So this is very important. The circular orbit is only a special case of the elliptical orbit. The velocity of the electron moving in an elliptical orbit varies considerably at different parts of the orbit. This causes considerable variation of mass of the electron with the velocities according to relativistic principle. So the Sommerfeld's atomic model can be easily understood using these diagrams. So electrons, the negatively charged particles revolving around the nucleus with nucleus at one of the focus, and the electrons revolving around the nucleus in elliptical orbit moving with a different velocity at different points. Here the circular orbit is only a special case of the elliptical orbits, and this is n is equal to 4k and different k values, and this is only a circular orbit and all other are elliptical orbits. How it explains the relative intensity of the spectral lines? So whenever an electron moving around the nucleus in elliptical orbit, its velocity continuously varies. Whenever an electron is very near to the nucleus, it moves with a very high speed. Whenever an electron is far away from the nucleus, say at this point, the speed of the electron is less, because the distance between the nucleus and the electron is very less. So there is a less force of attraction between the electron and the nucleus. Whenever an electron is very near to the nucleus, the distance between the nucleus and the electron is very large, hence it experiences a large force of attraction. To overcome this large force of attraction, it moves with very high speed. Due to variation of the speed, its mass is also varies. As its mass varies, its energy is also varies according to relativistic variation of energy and mass. Due to variation of mass and energy, the energy of the electron is varies, gives rise to a large number of these spectral lines. I mean, a single spectral line consists of the large number of these spectral lines, gives rise to fine structure. What are the demerits of the Sommerfeld's atomic model? This theory fails to explain the fine structure of a spectral line completely and satisfactorily, and also this model fails to explain the Zeeman effect and the Stark effect. The Zeeman effect and the Stark effects are the newly discovered effects. What is Zeeman effect? Zeeman effect is the splitting up of the spectral lines under the application of the magnetic field, whereas Stark effect is the splitting up of the spectral lines under the application of the strong electric field. So these Zeeman effect and Stark effects were not explained using the Sommerfeld's atomic model. The distribution, the Sommerfeld's atomic model was also fails to explain the distribution of electrons in a various shells of an atom. Therefore, Sommerfeld's atom model was also discarded. This is about the some atomic models. The vector atom model I will explain in the next video. I have studied all these books for my video preparation. Thanking you for watching.